Hey guys, my name is Rune and welcome to my YouTube channel Beat the PTE. And in today's class guys, we're going to discuss about Summarise Written Text, which is considered as one of the daunting tasks in the PTE Academic Exam where a lot of students struggle to answer this question. Yep, so make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell notification icon so that you'll get notified as soon as we update videos. So let's just dive headfirst into it, right? Summarize written text. On your test day, guys, you'll be smacked on your face with a question similar to this. Here, you will be given around, maybe on your test day, around 2 to 3 questions of this type. And these questions contribute to your reading score and as well as your writing score. Why? So you're going through the passage by reading through all the content and you're going to summarize this into a single sentence with 75 words or less. Yep, a single sentence in the sense that the sentence needs to start off with a capital letter and needs to end off with an appropriate punctuation mark. Yep. So yeah, on your test day, you'll generally come across 2 to 3 of these questions on your next PTE academic exam. So a word of soothing for you guys is that almost all of these questions which are being asked in the PTE academic exam are already leaked. So any of our premium students who have purchased our question bank will get a summary of all the most repeated PTE summarized written text questions. Practicing those, you get around 80 to 90% chance of at least out of these 3 questions for at least 2 of them to be repeated. That's just a probability, guys, but if you practice these questions, you should be able to tackle any set of new question, even if you're come across a new one on your test. Yep. So before going into the most repeated question that we're going to discuss today, I want to give you a general basic idea on how these questions are being marked as, right? So generally in PTE academic exam, for the summarized written text, these questions are evaluated in terms of 7 marks, and this is how the marking scheme goes, right? So I call this a step marking because there is a little bit of complication to this marking pattern. So you will get 2 points for your content if you're able to locate all the keywords and the main idea in the given paragraph. Yep. So this content is a pseudo skill. It's a pseudo enabling skill. What do I mean by this? You won't be able to see this on your enabling skills on your score report. It's a pseudo skill, but it is critically important for you to locate the keywords and the main idea of the paragraph or the group of paragraphs that you will see on your exam. And form, what is form? You'll generally get 1 mark for this. So form is that you're able to write the sentence within the 75 words restriction with the appropriate capitalization and punctuation marks. Yep. So just in case for you guys who think that you can write 80 words when they specifically ask you to do 75 words, you would get 0 in terms of this. Yeah. And the next aspect that you will be tested on these questions is a grammar, which you'll be given 2 points. So all I want you to concentrate, guys, is that you're able to frame a sentence or paraphrase the sentence in such a way that it makes logical sense. If a sentence that you frame for that sort of summarized written text question, if you hand it over to someone else and if they can understand that summary, you're good enough. You should be able to get 2 points on your grammar. And vocabulary, you'll also be tested for 2 points. Here, vocabulary, it'll just test you for your lack of using your usage of synonyms for the similar words in the written paragraph, because you're not supposed to write the exact word to word. You're supposed to write it in your own words. This is where synonyms comes in. That's where the power of vocab comes into play. All right. So it's pretty simple, right? But the complication with this marks is that it's a step marking criteria, right? So in your sentence, which is less than 75 words, if the computer does not detect the keywords or the main idea, it will instantly give you 0 and it will not evaluate the remaining portions. So even if you've written your sentence for like 50 words and you have like top-notch grammar and vocabulary, but you fail to locate the main idea and the keywords, the computer algorithm isn't gonna recognize the sentence and it will just give you 0, and as a result you'll be getting less amount of marks in your written discourse score in your enabling skills, which will drastically impact your reading score and as well as your writing score as well, right? Similarly for form as well. So let's just say in a hypothetical situation, right? You have your content, you have all the keywords and the main idea, but just because of curiosity, because you wanted to include every single point and you wanted to include every single main idea and every single keywords in your sentence, you exceeded this word limit to 75 words, right? So you might have received 2 points for your content, but the form you would have received 0. From form onwards, the grammar and vocabulary will not be evaluated. If possible, you will only be given points for your content. That's it. You'll be getting 0 for your form. So that's this hypothetical scenario, guys. So what I always tell my students is to try to locate this main idea and the keywords which are in this paragraph. It should be pretty easy for you guys if you practice through all the practice material in our question bank, and make sure that you frame the sentence within 50 words. In our question bank, we give you a sample answer for all of these. All you need to do is you need to go through these questions and practice it on your own and try to note down these main ideas and key points so that you can frame it in your own words on your test day. Yep. So this is how I would generally break down my 10 minutes of time. So here you'll be given 10 minutes for you to write around 75 words. That is basically a sentence which summarizes the whole written text, right? So generally for the first 2 to 3 minutes, generally 2 minutes, I try to go through the entire paragraph and try to understand the gist and the meaning of what the paragraph is about, right? Or the text is about. So gist, what do I mean by gist, guys? Let me give you a good example, right? For like those avid newspaper readers, so when you read an article, right, you don't by heart each and every single word for word as sentence for sentence, right? You go through it so that you get a general idea on what that newspaper article is about. That's a similar skill that I want you to adapt in these sort of questions so that you can get an overall picture on what the paragraph is about, right? And after 2 minutes, after you go through this entire paragraph and get the gist of the passage and what it's about, I would spend around good 5 minutes in locating the main idea and the keywords and copying and pasting those from the paragraphs and pasting it on the blank side of the screen where you're supposed to type in the summary. Yeah. So don't worry, guys. I understand that it might be a little bit daunting, but once we practice these questions, you should be able to get the hang of it. All right. After you get locate the keywords and the main idea of the paragraph or the group of text, the last 3 minutes, what I want you guys to do is to make sure that you paraphrase these keywords and the main idea into less than 75 words and alter it, and by using proper synonyms and complex sentences, and try to frame it as simple as possible in such a way that includes your main idea and your keywords. So it does take a good solid 3 minutes. I want you to allocate that time specifically for this in order for you to appropriately paraphrase and frame the sentence. Okay? So guys, let's just tackle one of the most repeated questions which is being asked in the PTE Academic Exam for the Summarise Written Text. It's called Frog Amba, that's the topic. and let's have a look. I'll give you guys a solid 10 minutes for you to go through these questions. I will walk you down through the process. All right, so let me give you first 2 minutes, guys, for you to go and get the gist of this entire paragraph. All right, let's go. Okay, a minor in the state of All right, guys, 2 minutes is up. This is how I would read through the paragraph. So, a miner in the state of Chiapas found a tiny tree frog that has been preserved in amber for 25 million years. A researcher said, if authenticated, the preserved frog would be the first of the kind found in Mexico, according to David Grimmel. Okay, a biologist and a curator at the American Museum who has one not involved in the find. The chunk of chamber containing the frog, less than half an inch long, was uncovered by a miner and one was about to be by a private collector who lent to scientists for study. A few other preserved frogs have been found in chunks of amber found by ancient research, mostly in Dominican Republic. Like those, the frog found appears to be of the genus Crotus, whose descendants still inhabited. Okay, Natural History and John Corbett announced the discovery this week. The scientists said the frog lived about 25 million years ago, based on the geological strata where the amber was found. Corbett would like to extract a sample of the frog's remains in hopes of finding DNA that could identify the particular species, but doubts the owner would let him drill into the stone. Call the idea of extracting highly unlikely, given that there are other scientists that have known that genetically over time. Theoretically possible if preserved, none of the frog has been exposed. Could be possible to get DNA. All right. So what this paragraph is about is that some ex-guy found basically an amber, which is like a fossil remains of a frog which was around 25 million years, right? So some scientists are trying to extract that DNA from that amber in order to, yeah, and some scientists are arguing that the DNA cannot be extracted for these sort of specimens because if it has taken a long time, the DNA would have been broken down and it would be really hard for them to extract any good DNA from that amber sample. Yeah. So that's your 2 minutes, guys. So you should have gotten a general idea. So the next good solid 5 minutes, what I would do, I'll give you a 5 minutes on the stopwatch, guys. I want you to go through these sentences and try to locate the key points on what you're going to incorporate on your single sentence, right? Which is going to be less than 75 words. So for locating the key points and the key ideas, the tips and strategies are presented on our question bank, which will go through the steps on what you need to look for when you're trying to identify the main idea and the key points in these sort of questions. So I'm going to put the shot clock for 5 minutes, guys. Try to identify the main idea and the keywords that you're going to incorporate on that summarized text. All right, here we go. 5 minutes, guys. Alright guys, you guys have about 2.5 minutes left. Try to locate the keywords and the main idea, guys. Alright guys, 1.5 minutes left. Alright guys, 30 seconds left. Alright guys, 5 minutes are up. So I hope you guys have found out the keywords and the main idea for this set of paragraphs so that we can incorporate it into a single sentence. This is how I would tackle it. So basically the main idea would be this one, that a person has found a small tree frog which has preserved in amber for 25 million years. And this is just like all the supporting information. I do get a lot of students asking me like, do you need to include the researchers or the scientists or the scientific personnel's name in the summarized written text? Absolutely no. The reason why is because these guys might have like 2 or 3 different names. So like if there are like 5 or 4 different personnel which is mentioned in this article, you'll be losing some words when you're trying to describe it in the written text, in the summary, right? Just try to categorize those people into a subset. Like in this scenario, these are researchers, right? And if it's a paragraph is about some teachers or something, you can say, you can paragraph it to as professors in the university. Something in those grounds. Just try to bring them to a subset, to a larger group on where they can be categorized into, right? So this would be my first main idea. And it's just all of this information is just blubber, just giving more information regarding what has happened. So they're saying that this fossil, this amber, if found, can be can can be allocated or can be a possible descendants which do still inhabit this region. So this can be your first main idea. This is your second main idea. All right. Okay. The scientists who lived in for 25 million years. Yes, Categorize strata. Amber was found. Carbet would like to extract a sample of the DNA. So Carbet, the scientist or the researcher, is trying to extract a sample of DNA that could identify the particular species. Okay, this can be a third point, that some scientists are trying to extract this sort of DNA from that specific amber in order to locate what sort of specific species that it falls into. All right, and okay, called, so some ex-scientists of natural history call this highly unlikely, as other scientists have noted that material tends to break down over time. Okay, this is 4. So these are the 4 key points and the main ideas that are the heart and the core of this paragraph. Apart from that, if you read through these 4 sentences, you should be able to get a general idea on what this entire text is about, right? Okay, so now I'll give you 3 minutes, guys. I want you to frame these 4 sentences that I have categorized in this key points in this paragraph in your own words into a single sentence. Remember guys, it needs to be less than 75 words, and that sentence needs to have a proper capitalization and proper punctuation. All right, I'll give you 3 minutes on the clock. You already have the main idea and the details. All right, 3 minutes, let's go. I will be sharing you guys the sample answer that I would have framed from these key points and main ideas. I want you to guys to give it a try so that you can generally get a basic understanding. Yeah. So never write the word for word as is. Try to paraphrase it in your own words by using similar words like synonyms and complex sentences. Yeah. If it's like, if the sentence is in active voice, try to create it in a passive voice, and never include proper pronouns or names of people, because you'll just be wasting word counts where it can be utilized for some other words. Alright guys, 1.5 minutes left. If you guys are having difficulties in locating the keywords and the main ideas, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want, you can subscribe our, like, you can purchase our question bank. There we'll be going through each specific detail on what you need to look for these sort of questions, so that you can identify these relevant points accordingly. Yeah. All right guys, 30 seconds. Ten seconds, guys. All right, time's up. Okay guys, so I want you to understand these 4 key points and see how I would have paraphrased these sentences into my own words. So the first one is that this guy has found a tiny tree frog preserved in amber, which could have been dated for like 25 million years, right? Which if found, if these could be the descendants which still inhabit this region, and some scientists are trying to extrapolate the DNA from this amber so that they can identify the particular species, but some scientists are contradicting to this, saying that sometimes the DNA is highly unlikely to get taken out because it might be broken down over time, because that's what happens to DNA as time passes, right? So alright guys, this is the final answer that I would have paraphrased this. Let's see if everything is covered, right? So an amber preserved in preserved tree frog with around 25 million years history was found by a miner in Mexico. Cool? Yes. And the fossil frogs descendants still inhabit the same region, which stimulated scientists' intention to extract genetic information of the frog from the amber, despite being considered as impossible by other researchers. Is all the 4 points being covered here? Yes. Let's have a look. So I did include that the amber that preserved the tree frog could be around 25 million years, which was found out by a miner in Mexico. Yep, we got it. We didn't need to mention the relevant scientist details or anything like that. And we have included that this fossil frog descendant might still inhabit the same region today. Yep, got the second keyword as well. Alright, with stimulated scientists. Remember guys, I didn't include the scientist name, I just mentioned scientists. Yeah, a plural form. Intention to extract the genetic information of the frog from the amber. Key point number 3. Despite being considered as impossible by other researchers, right? Yeah. So as you can see, I've included all the 4 key points. Yep. So this is how I would have paraphrased it. Does this need to be exactly the same way? Absolutely not. Every person has their own style of writing their sentences, but make sure that this sentence that you're framing is less than 75 words. In this sentence, it's around less 55 word count. Yep. So it has a proper capitalization and a proper punctuation at the starting and the beginning of this sentence. All right, guys. So that's it for this free trial class, guys. If you wanted to practice more questions and you want to sink your teeth into like really good practice questions, because most of these questions, guys, at the end of the day are mostly repeated. The more you practice these sort of questions, the more likely you might be facing the same questions on your test day. All right. So we do offer 3 different packages for our premium members who purchase our study question bank. So we offer $30, $50, and $120 packages, where the $30 question bank will give you access for the question bank along with the most repeated questions for 2 weeks. The $50 package will give you access for 4 weeks, and the $120 will be giving you the candidates access for 12 weeks, right? So this study package includes all the relevant information, like all the repeated questions that's being asked in the recent PTE tests, along with all the tips and strategies that we haven't covered in this video because it's for our premium subscribers. Yep. So yeah, and thanks for your time and cheers. Catch you next time.